Brad Carpenter, Chief Information Officer, CSpire. Brad, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
It's good to have you in the big chair. I have a quick shot here that you might be interested in here.
Okay.
Here goes. This might be where you could wear a shirt that in the future would replace your phone. So you could just call from your shirt. Could be a CSpire shirt. U.S. government has announced its development of a type of textile that turns clothing into spy tools and more. The program, cleverly called Smart Pants, or actually it's called Smart E-Pants, has set out to create high-tech shirts and pants and socks and underwear that will feel and move and function, and regular clothing that will be able to record audio, video, and even geolocation data. Is that going a little too far?
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, when your underwear is going to give away your location, I mean, come on. Idea is to equip the garments with tiny cameras, sensors, and microphones that appear to be fabric thread and will even be powered by the spy body's own energy. That's crazy.
That is.
Technology is changing so fast, and you know that, across the country that you don't say nothing is impossible anymore.
No.
Listen, the CSpire's Coding Challenge, the C3, is held at the Mississippi Children's Museum in Jackson, and I think it's also in Meridian. And that is coming up what? And tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so it kicks off on Thursday. This is our second year for concurrent events at the Jackson and Meridian Mississippi Children's Museums. It's our eighth year from a coding challenge standpoint, but Science Fest is really the big event. And it kicks off on Thursday, starting with a invitation-only event that is a coding challenge for elementary students. So we'll have about 20 schools participating, both in Jackson and Meridian, fourth grade elementary students. And they're really introduced to coding in a really engaging manner. It's really more of a competition. It'll be 4 students per team, paired with the CSpire mentor. So it's really a morning of fun, and really introduces the students, to technology, to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math at an early age.
You say this is the second one?
The second one where we are having the event in Jackson and Meridian, at the same time.
All right, walk me through this, because these already registered, so they who's going to be there?
Yes.
So that's already done. The registration is closed.
Correct.
So is it a half-a-day event?
So it's a most of a day event is the way I would describe it. So the morning is filled with we're getting the students up to speed, introducing them into the challenge, the competition, and really what they have is it's a series of obstacles that they'll have to go through.
I got you.
And we have a little robot we call Q. So they'll program the robot to go through obstacle courses and get really creative. And then we treat the students to lunch at both locations, and then we go through a judging process in the early afternoon, and then we have an award ceremony that caps it off.
And this is not individual awards, team awards?
Team awards, that's correct.
Because everything is already set for this one and you're going to have these in the future, I'm sure.
Yes.
For folks who don't know this, as far as the attire, I guess you come dressed comfortably. You don't have to worry about the kids bringing any of their own devices. You provide the devices?
We supply everything for the students, whether it's mats, food, beverages, robots, instructions, and such. So it's really all the schools really need to bring are the students and a teacher.
For the future knowledge, do you do the registration individually to CSpire as a parent, or do you go through the school?
What we do for C3 Junior and our coding challenge for high school students, we really go through the schools. So we have a reach out to the schools, and then that ultimately reaches the parents, and we receive submissions.
You max it out at 20?
No, we can handle definitely more than 20.
I got you. Are you? I don't know how long you've been doing this, but are you kind of surprised at some of the creativity of these kids at that age?
We've been doing the coding challenge for 8 years, which really kind of reinforces our investment in just in moving our communities forward through broadband access, through technology, ultimately through innovation. And, each year the students just are more acclimated to technology.
That's amazing.
Even last year's C3 Junior, it really was amazing at how quickly the fourth graders were able to grasp, because a lot of these kids, they haven't really been exposed to it even prior to the event. But they're around technology day in and day out, and their ability just to really pick it up is really amazing, especially compared to when we started this 8 years ago.
And just to tell a story I told you before, when I realized this, is one of my grandchildren, 6 years old now, which 3 years old, was over the house, and the big screen is eye level, and she was up there reaching. She could barely reach it. She was up there on the big screen punching, trying to change the channels like she was on her iPad. I thought that's just scary. But how old are these kids now?
They're fourth graders.
Fourth graders. Yes. They don't have to be geniuses. They don't have to, even if they've never picked up a computer, you never know what the acumen is.
Correct. In our winter last year, kind of drawing a blank on the school, but they had no coding experience and really hadn't been exposed. And it's really it's a team challenge. So each student that's a part of the team really gets to play a part, whether it's laying out the obstacle course, being a part of programming the robot, or being a part of just some of the creative activities around it as well too, adding some of the polish to the course.
Well, I would imagine most of them don't understand the X's and O's, or in this case, the ones and the zeros of this, when many adults don't, to be honest with you. So it's probably the first time they've been introduced to that.
Right. Right, and the way we approach it, especially for the elementary students, it's less about the programming language. So the logic is really surfaced up at their level, and it's about making the robot, go 5 feet, making the robot turn left. Let's make the robot do a 360-degree turn. Let's make the robot make a sound. So it really the students are able to complete the task and actually see the results very quickly in more of a touchscreen type of environment.
And it ignites their imagination.
It does.
What else they can do? Are there things, Brad, that they can further this later on with any courses or any type of material that they can take home and continue this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a wealth of online material, but just even in the school systems today, as of 2021, we were part of the state, being a part of the state pushing the computer science initiative through all schools. So that's very much an accomplishment we're proud of, partnering with the state of Mississippi to have computer science incorporated in our curriculum. But there's coding academies, outside of structured school. There's online courses. There's just a multitude of assets today that kids can really take advantage of if they're interested in this.
For folks who don't know, I think we have an earlier. It's been quite a while talking about the Coding Academy. In Water Valley, is that where it is?
Yes, Base Camp Coding Academy. I'm on the board. I get the privilege of being on the board for the Base Camp Coding Academy.
Can we talk about that for folks who don't know when we come back?
Oh, absolutely.
Brad Carpenter, Chief Information Officer for CSpire, the Coding Academy. And it's been there long enough now that I would imagine some of these kids are graduated and in the field. We'll talk with Brad Carpenter, Chief Information Officer, the C3 Junior Coding Challenge happening at the Mississippi Children's Museum. And again, in case we threw you off there, Jackson and Meridian, it's going to be on Thursday. That is this Thursday, which means day after tomorrow. For folks who don't know about the Coding Academy, just an incredible asset and offering from our friends at CSpire. Tell me a little bit about it and what's the status of that and how's it progressed over the years?
Yeah, sure. We've wrapped up our 7th class earlier this year, in the spring. Graduates, we're in our 8th this year. We start the curriculum, kicks off in June. For really, these are students straight out of high school.
Right.
So from a process standpoint,
they're
out
nominated. Of high school. They've graduated from high school.
They've graduated from high school. Okay. They're nominated, from a teacher, a counselor, or someone in the community, and go through an interview process. Really, the curriculum, it's an intense 1-year coding curriculum, we're getting the students really ready for the workforce. To take on a position as a junior software developer, really at a company like ours at CSpire. So from a graduation standpoint, we really pride ourselves on having about a 90% success rate in terms of job placement.
Wow.
So and it's just like the C3 that we talked about. Each year the students are sharper. They're coming out of the academy more prepared for the workforce. Even at CSpire, we have over 25 students that are full-time CSpire employees. So it's a tremendous opportunity, for those that were, a four-year college is really not for them, whether it's, just different circumstances and such. And, the curriculum, it's a non-traditional, it's more of a work style curriculum versus a classroom. So you're working on projects and such. So you're learning a lot of the life skills as well as the technical skills.
You're learning by doing.
Yes.
When would you suggest a parent start looking at this as far as working diligently to try to get their child into that? 11th grade, 10th grade, or?
I think definitely 11th grade's the right grade there.
Yeah.
We're starting interview cycles for the class of 2024 or 2025. We're starting those cycles today.
Is there a maximum number of kids you can take?
We like to say no. We have over 30 students, in this class. And we look at it on a situational basis. If next year we have 50, we'll look at, okay, how do we expand our curriculum so that we can support that number of students.
Brad, do they come from all over the state, and is there residency there? How's that work out?
It's primarily around the Water Valley area, but we have students that are, an hour plus, but it's in that northeast Mississippi area. We do have some assistance in terms of, gas reimbursement and things of that nature, but really the students, all tuition's paid for. All of that's paid for. The student is responsible for room and board, but like I said, we do for those students that are traveling in from a distance. We provide assistance.
Are you keeping track of the graduates? Do you have any idea? Do you know what the average starting salary is, or things such as that?
We're definitely keeping track of, and the average starting salary is going to be around $50,000, $50,000, which is again a tremendous opportunity for someone who's just really a year removed from high school. It's a lot of work, but for those students that put in the work, they can really see the benefit. And then at CSpire, once you're in it for several years and such, or just you're able to gain that competency, I mean, you can really be at the same level as someone who went to a four-year university.
I don't care what. As a matter of fact, we were just talking to John McKay. It's hard to find any businesses out there that are not using that one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Through the robotics or some form of facet.
Yes. So, I mean, think of this. It really is like a trade school for technology.
Sure. Yeah.
So
high-tech trade school.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And they come up if that's what they enjoy doing, and that's one of the keys we were talking to John or when we were talking to Ryan or anybody else. I just believe wholeheartedly is we've got to get into the schools and get this information to them. And you can see it. You get 20 or 30 students there, and you start throwing all of these things out like a potpourri or a buffet of stuff, and you can see the faces light up. Oh, man, that's something I really love. The greatest thing in the world is, in talking to kids and grandkids, is that they search for things that will ignite their imagination. And it's just natural that you're going to be confused. You may graduate from high school and still not know. But at least the offerings are there, and you need to put some ideas with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it retains some of that talent, that brain talent here in the state and in the region as well, too. And that's just very, very important.
You know what? As a matter of fact, I didn't talk to John about this, but I read an article that is kind of changing now, and I think it is, and I can understand how it would be. A lot of times people wanted to graduate, leave the state, And I think it's going to change even more in the next several years, because when you start getting photos of what's going on in places like San Francisco or Chicago or other places, it's not that welcome arm, let's go explore this without some danger now. And Mississippi's looking better and better every single year.
I agree, and our region in general, whether it's Mississippi, the Birmingham, Alabama area and such. I mean, just this area, the quality of life and such, and we have a lot of the amenities that students straight out of school or young workforce really look toward.
Yeah.
So.
You got to enjoy that, and you got to enjoy just seeing the advancement of these kids in what you do. It's got to be great. Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask you about. On the C3 that's going to happen on Thursday, do they get a trophy? Do they just get a pat on the back, or are there some other things that they get a coupon? What do they get?
It's really a packet of just really CSpire gear and such. So it's a trophy of sorts.
Good.
They definitely, the winners get to take the robots home, to the school and such. So that's a big win. There's definitely bragging rights as well, but it is a trophy of sorts.
That is good. Anything else you want to mention about that?
No, I mean, it's just going to be a great event. And then Saturday, again, that's the formal Science Fest event for the Mississippi Children's Museums at both Jackson and Meridian. So that's open to the public.
Children's Museum at both places.
Correct. And it's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I know in the Jackson area, it's really a shuttle between all four museums and such. So it's a big day for really the general public, the families. Great event.
How many people to a team?
Four students to a team.
Four to a team.
Yes.
Will we get the winners on here? Will the winners be publicized?
We will publicize the winners. We can talk through with the schools to see if they'll want to come on the show.
Anything else going on? There's so many things going on at CSpire. It's hard to keep track.
We have a ton of going on, and it's great. I mean, just we continue to be very focused on providing high-end broadband connectivity to our region and such. Our Connect and Protect product from a wireless standpoint, really providing parents that confidence. Okay, this is the right device for my kid's first phone, and it can be an iPhone, and we completely lock that down and provide that protection.
I talked to someone, and they said the Connect and Protect was on fire. Apparently the parents really love the idea, and every time I read a story about what's going on with these digital dangers, I think it's even more so. It's incredible.
Right, and it's relatable to me. I have two daughters, 15-year-olds, 12-year-olds. So the 12-year-old is the perfect device for that 12-year-old, that 11 or 12-year-old that really needs a device because they're out and about. They're playing sports, they're at events, and you really want them to be able to connect, and they can have an iPhone.
Brad, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad they need that device, because a lot of times what happens is it's almost like dating. I'm not going to get you a phone until you're 15 years old. But all of a sudden you see the connectivity. It's something that's advantageous, but you don't want them to have all of the negative stuff that comes with it.
Correct, and that's what we like.
It's not only just not good for them mentally and everything else, it's dangerous.
Right. But they need to be able to text with their friends. They need to be able to communicate with their parents, and the parents need to be able to have tracking ability if they need to know, hey, are they finished with their school exercise and such? So we're able to provide that.
Or somebody didn't come to pick them up, et cetera,
exactly.
et cetera.
Exactly.
Man, it's good to meet you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Don't be a stranger.
Will do.
You got it. Brad Carpenter, Chief Information Officer, CSpire, and the Coding Academy is coming up on Thursday.